Throughout time, the legend of the Yeti creature has been with us. No matter what you choose to call it, be it Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or the abominable snowman, surely it must exist. But how has it evaded our scrutiny for so long? Is it possible that these creatures have been living among us for some time? Isn't it natural for them to want the same things we do? Do they crave the comforts of home and family? The time has come to find out. You must help Urban Yeti deal with the complexities of civilization so he can find a suitable mate. So, I haven't yet checked out any of the several Grand Theft Auto titles for Game Boy Color or Advance, but upon first glance this certainly appears to take a ton of inspiration from the early top-down entries in that franchise. First glances can be deceiving, however, as although visually it does resemble the character movements, level design, and approach to height perspective, Urban Yeti is something quite different. You play as the eponymous Yeti who, for some reason, came to a populous urban city to try and vanquish his horn. Why he thought a female Yeti would be hiding in the city is anyone's guess, but let's just say that your presence in this sprawling metropolis is not met with enthusiasm by the maniacal denizens. You'll be immediately assaulted by pedestrians, pooping birds, mangy dogs, and of course the police, not to mention crazed motorists. Swing your right fist with A and your left with B to enact your hairy vengeance on everything that comes at you. If you can make head or tail of what's going on, be sure to never stand still and head towards that red arrow that periodically pops up. It's your mission goal. The city is broken down into a small handful of areas that you complete by simply reaching a trigger point. At first, you need to locate the source of the Yeti scream you hear coming from the mainland. So you rampage your way through everything, punching the homeless, exploding moving vehicles, and ransacking dumpsters to find health-replenishing hot dogs. This is so weird. Then you'll come to the bridge taking you off the first island, only to find you need to pay a toll. Why Yeti wouldn't just smash through the ticket booth, I don't know, but you'll have to somehow earn the $4 required. Rather than going through the pockets of all the pedestrians you've beaten to death, do the honest thing and get a job. Who's hiring, though? Well, to find out, you'll need to check the local wanted ads. Unfortunately, the only copy of a newspaper in town is floating around on top of a really tall building. So, climb your way up scaffolding and across rooftops to see what your job options are. You'll need to take a job as soup kitchen manager, a role that has no salary and comes with torrents of abuse, requiring you to live solely off customer tips. Definitely sounds like the American service industry to me. Here you'll play through a minigame where you'll have to throw the preferred meals of choice at constantly encroaching customers, then rushing in and collecting the handful of cents they've lobbed on the floor for you to scavenge. At first, I didn't even realize this was how you got paid, as the coins are so small and other customers will snag them up if you're not quick enough. Choose the wrong food or miss a customer entirely and they'll slap you on themselves, leaving you immobile for a few seconds. Once you've got your $4, go back to the bridge to be escorted to the main stage. There are only 4 main city stages, and while they have their own mini-games, it's not a long adventure as such. However, don't expect to breeze through the game. Everything's coming after you, remember, and everything hurts you. Health replenishments only give you 4 hit points back, but each attack does at least double that. Getting hit by a car or shot by the filth takes way more. No iframes either. If you're taking damage, you better get the hell out of there or you'll soon be dead. Not only that, but every now and then there's enforced damage when you trigger a new checkpoint. Coming out of that soup kitchen minigame will immediately cause you to get hit by something, flying off down the road and taking substantial damage. And because it happens immediately on the level reloading, there's literally no way to avoid it. Therein,'s the main issue with Urban Yeti. While the premise of the game is utterly bonkers, it comes with its own unique charm and a healthy dose of wacky humor, not unlike you'd find in a GTA title. The problem is the real shonkiness in some of the programming. Hitboxes are all over the place, but it almost doesn't matter anyway because of how choppy and inaccurate the frame rate can be. It's very loose and sloppy in its presentation, and it only gets worse as more NPCs and enemies fill the screen. Every now and then, the camera will just skip away from looking at you and focus on some dog or something. It comes with a graphic showing a Yeti cam, so I'm sure it's intentional, but I'm at a loss as to what purpose it actually serves. As to the poor programming, each time I got to a particular part on the second level, the game soft-locked and I couldn't progress any further. I'd just beaten up this imposter Yeti and his army of minions at around 10 FPS, mind, after which he hitched a ride on top of this car and sped away, proclaiming that I should meet him at a Yeti discus tournament, which is another minigame. However, when I regain control, I actually don't. There's this policeman constantly shooting at me, although I'm not taking damage, and more importantly, I can't move. Don't know if this was just for me or if it regularly happens. It is possible to skip levels with a password, so I could do that, I suppose. So yeah, you'll trip from one mental situation to the next. I guess the approach is just to take it in, rather than question what the hell is going on. Video games aren't always meant to be taken seriously. Urban Yeti comes with the same mentality you'd find in I Am Bread or Untitled Goose Game. Just go with it. This is a weird one. And I'm not even talking about the premise itself. I mean, it looks and feels like a bad game. Objectively, perhaps, it even is a bad game, but you'll have a bloody good time with it. I'm at a bit of a loss to explain why, but it's oddly good fun, despite being rubbish by pretty much any metric you measure it by.